Sanders said during a dispute with CNN's Jim Acosta that a number of outlets have engaged in outrageous coverage of attempted violence on critics of the president that's irresponsible in the tone it has taken. Trump had harangued the media earlier in the day, reverting to a claim that the fake news is the true enemy of the people, in a tweet that accused the media of fanning the flames of hatred and anger. His spokeswoman wouldn't pinpoint outlets at her briefing, but Trump has singled out CNN, which was the target of pipe bombs last week, by name in the past. Since the bomb threats that the FBI said were not a hoax, the president and his press secretary have repeatedly turned the tables on the media as inciting violence as Trump came under broad scrutiny for the heated rhetoric that he deploys at campaign rallies. Trump has made a concerted effort to turn the temperature down, laying off his political enemies as hysteria over the pipe bombs peaked. Antsy to get back on message, Trump went after some of his favorite targets, including crooked Hillary on Friday night. Let's not forget that these same Democrats have repeatedly attacked the president, whether it was Eric Holder saying, "Kick them when they're down," whether it was Hillary Clinton saying you can't be civil until Democrats have control of Congress, or whether it was Maxine Waters who encouraged her supporters to get up, not just in the president's face, but all administration officials' faces, Sanders argued on Monday. Those actions were from those Democrats the president's going to fight back if these individuals not only attack him, but attack members of his administration and supporters of his. On Saturday, Trump told press that he wouldn't stop campaigning despite an attack on a synagogue in Pennsylvania. The suspect in the case, unlike the person arrested in association with the pipe bombs, was not a Trump supporter. Nevertheless, it was the president who was hit on Sunday morning by Democrats as failing to show proper leadership. Representative Adam Schiff and other Democrats on Sunday argued that Trump and his supporters had engaged in behavior that is anti-Semitic. Sanders on Monday said that Trump has continually looked for ways to bring the country together after natural disasters and violence that has gripped the nation. "I think you saw the president do exactly that in the wake of a national tragedy, not just this week, but every time our country has experienced the type of heartache and pain that we have over the last week," she said. This is a president who has risen to that occasion. Lecturing the press, Sanders said at her first briefing in 26 days, "You guys have a huge responsibility to play in the divisive nature of this country." The very first thing the president did was condemn the attack. "The very first thing the media did was blame the president," she said. Sanders repeated a claim that 90% or more of the coverage of Trump is negative. "If anything, I think it is sad and divisive the way that every single thing that comes out the media. 90% of what comes out of the media's mouth is negative about this president," she asserted. Trump bashed the media on Monday as well, saying in a tweet as he began a day on which he had nothing but his daily intelligence briefing on his schedule, that immense anger in America is caused in part by news organizations. "There is great anger in our country, caused in part by inaccurate and even fraudulent reporting of the news. The fake news media, the true enemy of the people, must stop the open and obvious hostility and report the news accurately and fairly," he said. "That will do much to put out the flame of anger and outrage, and we will then be able to bring all sides together in peace and harmony." Fake news must end at Sanders' briefing, Acosta pushed to explain why the White House wouldn't reserve the term enemy of the people for people who are actually the enemy of the United States rather than journalists. She replied that the president is not referencing all media. He's talking about the growing amount of fake news that exists in the country. "I'm not gonna walk through a list," she told him, as Acosta tried to force her to admit he was referring to CNN. "I don't think it's necessarily specific to a broad generalization of a full outlet at times. I think there's individuals that the president would be referencing." Trump called Acosta crazy jam of fake news CNN in a January tweet. Sanders did not have the guts on Monday, Acosta accused, to name names. But she did tell him, "I think it's irresponsible, a news organization like yours, to blame responsibility of a pipe bomb that was not sent by the president. Not just blame the president, but blame members of his administration for those heinous acts. I think that is outrageous and I think that's irresponsible."